That's what you do. You buy these clothes that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without the sun. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first two episodes, the second series, something like that. Stallone.
We are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Hi everyone. It's film and TV review. We'll see how we go, see how it goes along. Do you know what? Blade Runner, never ever seen one film like this. Not one. Not one. And people are surprised. I've got a couple of workmen in. You might just hear the noises in the background. I don't know whether you will or not. I don't know. But they've been here since bloody 7:30 and the noise is horrendous. Really. But anyway, they're doing a job and they're cracking on with it. But anyway, good morning, everyone. I was made up at last night's show. I really was, you know, the current affairs, what was going on. And we were going everywhere. I couldn't get my mouse over to until Gary Rigby, you know. Later on, I never seen it, you see. I never seen it, unfortunately. Move your little things, you know, like this. So I was made up with that. I was made up with that, being told, just in case something happens like that again, you know, just to move, like, whatever it is, instead of using that stupid mouse. It really pissed me off last night. Frustration, you see, so frustration. But anyway, so I was watching a couple of films. Well, I watched three James Bonds. I watched Roger Moore and 2. Was it 2? Yeah, Roger Moore and 2. And also Pierce Brosnan in another GoldenEye. What did I watch? I watched Octopussy. And I watched, what was it? The Spy Who Loved Me. And it's always about Russia. You know, they're the enemy, if you know what I mean. And it applies today. It just applies today. This is how filmmakers, you know, portray the bad people, if you know what I mean. So it's good. It's all propaganda. I like James Bond. I just like James Bond. I'll tell you what else I like as well. Mission Impossible. I like Mission Impossible, and that's all about like the bad Russians, you know, the bad people. And it goes back years. They've always been an enemy of the West, but it's all been propaganda, unfortunately. Because, as I keep saying to people, Russia's never done anything to me, to no harm. I've met their Russians and I've been to Italy, you know, they just go on holiday. And fully enough, I was sitting at a table, you know, when you'd have breakfast and dinners with other people, and you'd always get stuck with a couple, you know. And what they actually said was these Russians were in the hotel, and they went, I didn't know they could leave Russia. I said, well, what made you say that? Well, you know, it's well-known fact that they can't leave Russia. I said, who told you that? She said, it's always on the, you know, the papers and on the telly, and you're always being followed. And this is how they think, and on films as well. This is what they think, you know. They see a film, they go, oh, they are bad. But anyone, it's anyone. You know, it doesn't have to be Russia. It doesn't have to be Russia. Christopher. Oh. Morning, Frank and everyone. Good morning, Christopher. Nice to see you. The Anfield Roar. Morning, Frankie. Got a lovely angle and I'm fully prepared. Prepared for a movie review. Russians are sound, says upstairs and down the hallway. Yeah, they're nice people. It's just the impression that people get, unfortunately. God blimey. Ariotti from New Zealand. He's tuning in from New Zealand, Harry. Evening morning, Francis. No, my family call me Francis, and Harry, along with a fella named Paul McDonough who plays John Lennon. They call me Francis. Family. One of my favourite movies is Blade Runner. Right? Okay. Strange. I've never seen one film. I don't like that Harrison Ford for some reason. I've got to tell you about Harry, you know. I've got to tell you about him. A few months ago, him and Harry and like a little Liverpool community, Scouse community in New Zealand, and they found out that John Bishop was appearing at a theatre in New Zealand, so they all decided to go. They decided to go to see John Bishop, you know, because he's a Scouser and whatever. And it's all nostalgia, isn't it? You know, if you're living anywhere abroad and you go, wow, you know, there's a Scouser who's a well-known Scouser. Get onto this. So he goes in and he's watching John Bishop. And the next, Bishop starts talking about me. Now, Harry's not the only one to say that, because people in America have said, Bishop was talking about you, even on chat shows, which is mad, isn't it? John Bishop. Because I did a thing where I knew John anyway, and I did a thing for him called Who Do You Think You Are on the BBC. He asked me, you know, will you do this? I said, well, I know John, yeah, I'll do that. And I looked up his granddad, or great granddad, forgetting now. He was a performer, you know, entertainment. You couldn't do what he did today because of political correctness. I'm talking about his great granddad, if you know what I mean. And we had a great laugh because he was made up when he see me. He went, I didn't know it was you, Frank. I said, yeah. I'm here to do you. He said, what have you found out? I said, you're not going to believe what I found out. This is like, and this director went, don't start talking about it now. And then we started filming. You know. Strange. with John Bishop. Xavi, the Liverpool Xavi. Good morning, Frank. How's it going? I don't know. I'm going to bring a sleeping bag up to the doctors, and might put one in the hospital as well, because that's where I've been going more or less every day. Thankfully, I'm going shopping today. Francine's coming down for me, get changed and go shopping with her. Usually trolley as a Zimmer going around the shop. That's the only exercise I get now. And I've got a couple of work fellas here. And I can't help them. I can't lift my arm or anything. This can't lift it. That's okay. But my left arm, it's gone, unfortunately. Remember Sting's song, Russians? Yeah? The Sting? Yeah. He's a fucking zilly, him, though. One of the lads met her. He was down in, where was he? I think the south of France. Was it the south of France? Côte d'Azur. And he seen Sting there. And he went, all right, Sting. And I'm only talking a couple of years ago. He said, all right, Sting. And he went, hello, I don't know. He said, he said, why don't you call yourself fucking Graham? Because that's your name. He said, Sting. You still fucking call yourself Sting? How old are you now? 60 odd. And he said, he just looked at me like that. He thought I was going to give him a smack, he said. But that's just one of the lads. Anyway, the Bill Clopper statue, he says, come on, Frank. Are you still on the beer after the celebrations? I'm still hungover. Thing is, no, I haven't had a beer. I can't drink, unfortunately, at the moment. But I'm going to tell you now, I'm going, hook or by crook, I'm going to the parade on the 26th. I'll be there. I'm not going to miss that. Not going to miss that. And he carries on by saying, also, a good friend of mine said there's a Romanian film that just came out that's amazing, that I want to see. He told me it's a masterpiece. A Romanian. Do you know how Romania got its name, by the way? And it was by the Romans. You seen this land, we'll call this Romania, because they were Roman over the land. Became a country, Romania. The Romans. And up the stairs says, I like Eastern European drama. I'll tell you what's good drama, if you fancy it. South Korea, they make some cracking films. One of the best films I've seen a child in. Fantastic actress. Little girl. One of the best performances I've seen a child give. A little girl is Train to Busan. If you haven't seen it, have a go at it. I don't like zombie films, but it's good. It's really good. Train to Busan. And the child in it, she's exceptional. The acting, unbelievable. Train to Busan. And they do some good films. They do some good dramas and things, the South Koreans. And Bill says, the new year that never came to Bogdan Morasanu. Have you heard of it? No, never heard of it, Bill. Never heard of the film. And on the brink of revolution in 1989, Romania, 6 lives intersected amid protest. Is this where Nicola Ceausescu and his wife, Elena, they just put on trial right away. You know, it was a kangaroo court, and they just brought them out and fucking shot them within the hour. Sat them on a chair, shot them. And personal struggles leading to the explosive of Ceausescu and the communist regime. Well, that was a colour revolution. Have a guess who by? One guess. I'm only giving you one guess who started the colour revolution. Let me know on a postcard. Little intro on the story. I'm hoping to see it this weekend in the cinema. It should be good if it's about that, though. It should be good if it's about that. You know, they're leading up to the trial and execution of the Ceausescus. Good morning, Sir Al Franchino. Says Ali Danus, Romanian. Ali's a Romanian. And he can tell you about all the corruption and everything going on in Romania today, unfortunately, because the Americans and the EU do not want a lad by the name of Kalen Georgescu to stand, you know, to be president, because he was 68% in the lead. And because he's not interested in Ukraine, the EU went, oh, we can't have him. We can't have him. And the EU, they call it democracy. What fucking democracy? They call it democracy, and they cancelled it. And then he went to court over it. He said, hang on. So the court turned it over, and they still won't allow him. Is that democracy? If you tell me that that's democracy, well, I don't know what fucking democracy is. Look, I'm swearing already. Up the stairs says he talks to Bill. It sounds like a good film. It would be good. Mr. Capo, the boss. Greetings, FC. Pleased to join you and good lads on this channel again. I like films and series that resonate and have a message that I retain. Best wishes all, with hope. You never walk alone. Isn't that lovely? Thing is, Capo, is this. Capo means boss, by the way. It's Italian. And he's a capo. So what it is, when you look at the likes of films that resonate, you see political ones. There used to be good political ones, and I'm going back to the 60s and the 70s. But today's political ones, there's more propaganda to it, unfortunately. I always remember, what was it? It was about the New York Post, and Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman played real journalists, and it was finding out about Watergate. It was to break Watergate down. And Nixon, Richard Nixon. And that's good. That was good because it was a true story. But the Washington Post has gone. It's not the Washington Post anymore, if you know what I mean. It's called the Washington Post, but it's not the Washington Post. They say about investigative journalism, loads of bollocks, unfortunately. The Washington Post, that is. But that's me. I'll tell you the series to watch. It's called The Bondsman, with Kevin Bacon and Egg. Kevin Bacon and Egg. It's very good. Watch it. watch it. And up the stairs says, at Sting being TV. That cracked me up. Sting is defo up. Yeah, he is. He is up the stairs. And do you know what else he said to him? Honestly, he said to him, he says, what about that, don't stand too close to me about a young girl? He said, you won't be able to fucking sing that today, will you? I bet you can't sing that on stage. He didn't know what to say. I said to him, I said to him, don't you like Sting and that? He said, yeah, they're good. He said, but I was just coming out with all, what I was saying. He said, I was just coming out. Don't stand so close to me. About young girls. And Ali the News says, what Romanian film? So listen, lads, tell Ali, because he is still living in Romania. So just tell him what the film's got. Hang on, let's see. Let's see for you, Ali. Let's see. It's called The New Year That Never Came by Bogdan Mureșanu. That's what it's called, Ali. The New Year That Never Came. And, take notice of the lads, what they say. If it's a good film, they'll know. And up the stairs says, yeah, South Korean cinema and South Korean drama series are of high quality in the main. Absolutely. Absolutely. And up the stairs carries on by saying, I remember Imelda Marcos and I remember that. I remember they was doing a documentary, weren't they? And they went into this, like, I don't know what it was, a fucking big room. And she had all the masses of shoes. She only ever wore them once. More or less brand spanking new. Yeah. Ceausescu's wife was a bit similar. She had loads of clothes and shoes. It's mad, isn't it? Like, I'm not an hoarder as such, but I've got clothes. And there's no harm in having clothes. But if you're a leader, like of a country, and look, honestly, there are people very poor, but fucking pensioners couldn't even get warm in the winter. And, you have the politicians, they've got the best of everything. They just jump into limousines, all warm and nice and everything, go to a restaurant, and right into a warm restaurant, come out of the warm restaurant, go back home to a warm place. And then when they get picked up again and get into the likes of Parliament and having free meals and beer and whatever, all on our taxes. It's fucking wrong. But it's the way it is. It's the way it is. How many suits have I got? I've got about 8 or 9 suits. I've got like other jackets as well. Coats, coats. Got big coats, long coats. I mean, I even bought a Kraken Mac. Out of it was a year last Christmas I bought it out of Marks and Sparks. Never worn it. I've never ever worn it out. Tried it all in Marks, brought it home, hung it up, and it's still hanging up today. It's the way it is. All their shoes, says the up. The black and white boy. Morning, everyone. Morning, black and white. Ali, the news says, not there is a guy, Simeon. He gets the most votes. He is George Yeshu's guy. We'll see. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. will be the elections in Romania. Yeah, tomorrow. Simeon. I think, I'm not being funny, Ali, but if he's connected to George Yeshu, there'll be something going on and he won't get it. Telling you now. It's the corrupt West. It's the corrupt West. And Elmo James. Morning, Elmo. Jack Hawkins, great actor in the league. Yeah. Only 62 when he died. And he looked a lot older, didn't he? The League of Gentlemen. I never liked Jack Hawkins, though. But in the League of Gentlemen was brilliant. Was brilliant. And I seen him someone of Scotland Yard, you know, on one of those old black and white things, films. He always like plays a detective, didn't he? I tell you what else did I see? I seen him in a war one. Was it Sea Sand? No. I tell you what it was, and it was good. And he was good in it. The Malta Story, with Alec Guinness. Was it the Malta? Yeah, something about Malta anyway. That was a cracking. But see, look, I don't mind propaganda films if it's at the right time. Do you understand? Do you know wartime? I like them because it gives the people a lift. It really does when they're going through hard times, especially war, especially getting rid of these Nazis, these fascists. And it does give you a lift. But today's like films that, you know, loads of propaganda, you know, we're the good guys, as the Americans say. We're the good guys, they're the bad guys. Don't like all that. I don't like all that. George said. Frank, that movie was all the president's men, Wordsworth and Bernstein. Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, I don't know about you today, George, and the way you look at the Washington Post. It's gone now. What I mean is, certain groups of things take over, and they want you to print what they say. It's like anything today in the West. We've got we've got two women in the EU, unelected, that dictate the policies and everything. That's Kaya Kallas, Warhawk, and the other Warhawk, and Russophobe. Both of them are Russophobes. Is Ursula von der Leyen. But I'd like you to have a look at their past, their family past. Have you ever seen von der Leyen in a dress? Have you ever seen it in a dress? I haven't. And I more or less see it every day. She's always on the fucking telly every single day. And she always wears black trousers. Have a look at her. Never wears a dress. Something not right about her. Elmo, when 8 Bells talk, brilliant. Oh, yeah. Hey, that is something. Robert Morley stole that. Robert Morley, fantastic. Great Robert Morley. Great he was. Great in anything he did, Robert Morley. The African Queen. Imagine Robert Morley, Catherine Hepburn, and Humphrey Bogart. Those three. You'd think like he's the odd man out, wouldn't you? Robert Morley. But Hawkins, I'll tell you something about Hawkins. At the time, he was suffering from throat cancer, and that's why he had his thing up. Just like Val Kilmer, just before he died, he always had his thing up. And there was a great actor, one of English actor called Charles Gray, big tall fella, grey hair. You've seen him in films, Charles Gray. And he did his voice. He did Jack Hawkins' voice. He dubbed, the couple of films that he was in before there. He passed on. Charles Gray. And Ali says, oh yeah, just checked out. Yeah, it's 100% Romanian film. I will watch it on Netflix later on. Good man. Good man. You'll have to let us know next week what it was like. If we haven't said how you found it being a Romanian. Elmo says, Alistair MacLean wrote 8 Bells and Where Eagles Stare. Yeah, he was good, Alistair MacLean. He was good. Where Eagles Stare. Where Eagles Stare, you'd never think that Clint would have been in that, would you? Clint. And he was. With Richie Bain. Patrick Wymark was the baddie, wasn't he? And James Nesbitt, what's his name? Something Nesbitt anyway. Got a lip like that. Got a lip like that, didn't he? And he plays a dirty German. Those Germans. Can even the English are playing them. Fast. Ali says, nowadays, most of Romanian people missed Ceausescu. He was a dictator. He was a dictator, but in his time, everybody had jobs, houses for free and safety. You see, look, everything stems back to America. You've only got to listen to Americans today. The likes of Lindsey Graham, for example. And when they're talking about China, they always say communist China. And that's where it dates back to the Cold War, after the war. And the McCarthy witch hunt. Arthur Miller did The Crucible. It was brilliant, The Crucible, based on a true story of the Salem witch hunt, which was fucking terrible, to be honest, of 1692. But Arthur Miller wrote the play, and he presented it to McCarthy. He said, "Yeah," but there was a parody, because what he was given, what was going on then in the 50s, the witch hunt, the McCarthy witch hunt, and he never had a clue, McCarthy. There was an actor by the name of Sterling Hayden, and he told on people. He's got left views, and he was writers like Sam Wanamaker, for example, and his daughter, when he came to England, and he was doing all work over here, making films and things. Zoe, his daughter Zoe, went into the acting business, obviously, and she was in an interview. I'm talking about years ago, and they said, "What about your dad? Your late father?" And he was exiled from America. She said, "Yeah." And they said, "Would you ever go to America to do it?" She said, "No. The way they treated my father." And Ali says he refuses to go every TV show about politics. But yeah, Frank, I get you. I wait them to cancel. I wait for them to cancel the vote again until their puppets will be president. Of course. It's like everywhere. Look at Kaya Kallas, a fucking prick. I have to say that. And she said to the president of Serbia, don't forget, in 1999, NATO bombed them fucking 60 days. Serbia? For nothing. To say, we're the boss. So you've got their president today, Vucic, and he's being invited over to the parade on the 9th of May. The big victory parade, what the Russians do, and they do it every year. Victory over the Nazis. And they not only the Nazis, but also the Japanese in Manchuria. People forget about that. The Soviets going in against the Japanese. And look at Trump. Fucking divvy in. Come out, well, we want a parade on the 8th. What the fuck is that all about? On the 8th of May. We won the 2 wars. Is he fucking kidding him? Did he do it? Look, in America, they haven't a fucking clue about history. It's just American history. That's all it is. American history. And they make fucking pricks to be out great heroes, the likes of Custer. Custer was a fucking coward. He used to go into when the Braves were out hunting or whatever. He used to go into little fucking wigwam villages and slaughter people. That's how fucking good he was. And at the Battle of Little Big Horn, the chiefs, said, leave him till the end. Fucking leave him till the end. And they wouldn't kill him till the end. everyone else. He was just standing there because he was a fucking bad dude. He was a bad dude. But they make heroes out of them. They make heroes out of them. And that's sad. That's sad. I liked a few, generals. I liked the likes of Clark, General Clark, of the South China Seas, like the Japanese, not the fucking Clark who was in the same name. He was in Italy when he says he gets to Pisa, and he's standing there, and there's fire, shooting going on, Marines, they're having a go, and he went, blow that up, and he went, okay, yeah, okay, and what he wanted to blow up was the Leaning Tower, and it was only for a major, an Italian-American major, who ran up. He said, you can't fucking do that, blow that up. He said, the sniper's in there. He said, how do you know? He said, that's an ancient monument, you can't do it. If only for that major, he would have fucking blown that up. The Leaning Tower. And there was nowhere snipers in there. The same fella bombed fuck out of the monastery and casino. I tell you, if you ever go to Rome, try and make a day out to a casino. It's not far. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. It really did. I was looking over this window, and there's a big hill. This is in the monastery. And I'm looking over at this hill, down, if you know what I mean, down, because it's on a hill in a Monte Casino mountain, mate. And I'm looking down at this fucking mountain, beautiful, green, forestry, and I seen this fucking huge cross, huge all white. And I was looking, and this monk, I think he was a monk, came over and he says, I've seen you standing there looking at that for quite a while. I said, I can't get it out of my mind. I said, that's beautiful. Until he told me what it was. And I was shocked. It just looked like a fucking huge cross on the mountainside, side of the mountain. Big, huge white cross. And what it was all the headstones of all soldiers who were killed. Polish soldiers. Couldn't believe it. But it's beautiful. And if you don't believe in anything, believe in this. Now, don't forget that was bombed to fuck. Bombed through Clark. The monastery. Anyway, when I went in there, I got up there. Don't forget the tunnels up, and I was in awe. I was like, wow. So I went in, the actual monastery itself, and I'm looking, and I'm looking at all beautiful. And then I walks over to this corner, and I sees this old mural. A mural. And I went, wow, and I was walking toward it, and there was an altar. So as I walked over, I looked at the altar, never took much notice of it. And I went, oh. And I was admiring the mural, ancient. Fantastic. And then I turned around and looked at the I turned around and looked at the altar, and the altar was magnificent. And on the you've got the altar, you've got the tabernacle, but on the altar there was a big chip out of it, chip out of the marble. So I took no notice of that, and I said, "Oh, that's a shame. Someone must have hit it with something." So when I turned around again to look at the model, the floor, I looked at the floor for some reason, caught my eye, and I seen two like lines, just lines, straight lines, towards this memorial, on the floor. What had happened again? I don't know. It wasn't the same fella. But he came and he was talking, and I was just looking. Because anything like that, it fascinates me. And he said, and he pointed at it, this chip, and he told me, when it was being shelled, a shell came through, and he pointed at a window. He said, "See that Romanesque window, beautiful." He said, "It came through there, hit the altar, the shell, bounced off it, and slid along the floor to the wall with the model that I was looking at, and they were the two lines as the thing went. The shell hit the thing. I went, "Go away," and it never blew up. He said, "And who's buried there in the altar himself is Saint Benedict." Saint Benedict. Fucking incredible. Couldn't believe it. So the cross on the side of the mount of tombstones belonging to the Polish soldier, fucking no. And the chip in the altar and the lines on the floor. And it was more or less the gravestone, the grave, I'm sorry, of Saint Benedict. And it never blew up. I was in total awe of that. Beautiful. Myra. Oh, Myra. Oh, the lovely Myra. Hi, all and friends, I'm Frank. Hi, yeah, Myra. Thanks for last night, you and ZW. Thank you. Thank you. With the rest of the lads, the family, as they say. Wonderful stuff last night. Still never got through. It's 3 hours I was on. And the capo says, "Good to know you are going to join the parade in Liverpool, Frank. We wanted to invite you to our party on Friday the 23rd, but saw you have health problems and send you good vibrations. Be well. We hope you'll never walk alone." Where's that, capo? Where's your where is it on the 23rd? Let me know. Let me know. Should be fun. Yeah, I'm still waiting to get seen to. Fortunately. Elmo, and I Station Zebra and The Guns of Navarone, McLean. Oh, two great films. Yeah. You can get, I'll tell you what you can get. Renee Bell's Toll on YouTube. That's a cracking film. Really good film. and Ice Station Zebra with Rock Hudson. Rock. And The Guns Are Never Home was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Gregory the Pet. Anthony Quinn. David Niven. Stanley Baker. Stanley Baker. And James Darren. He was in it. Only. And Anna Magnini was it. Forget her name. Anna someone. Fine Italian actress, actually. Playing a Greek. As Italians did, for film. You need a Greek. They can't act. I got this fella. Got this Italian in. He looks like a Greek. McLean was a great writer, says up the stairs. Yes, he was. He was. The Guns of Navarone. What a film. There's a girl in there, and she's a Scouser. And not many people know this. I think her name is Gia Scarlett. I think that's her name. But the other girl in it, and was it David Niven or Gregory the Pet Shooter? Because she's a traitor. Scouser. Born and bred in Liverpool. And the upstairs is Justin Hoffman is excellent, as always, in brackets. In All the President's Men. Brilliant. Great actor there, Justin Hoffman. He's brilliant. Still is. I seen him in A Love Story, with Emma Thompson. Something Harvey, All About Harvey, or something as I forget what. But it was a good film. Emma Thompson. And it was a lot, if you like love stories, but the acting was great. It really was great storyline. It wasn't like one of those, all this. It wasn't any of that. You like my bit of acting? That's what I mean. It could let the goat. I'm Irish, says the outfield. And Myra says, Frank, movies is a mirror of evil, of protection to us. Of course it is. That's what I said before, Myra. People take, you get a fictionalized film, and when it's propagandized, it's, people believe it. People believe it, unfortunately. They believe in the propaganda. I'm saying. That's a cracking comment, Myra. And the couple say, sure, Frank, our generation had All the President's Men and 3 Days of the Condor. That's one of my faves. 3 Days of the Condor. But Robert Redford's a great actor, And when you see Robert Redford in a film, watch it, because he only, all the stories he picked, fantastic. And I'll tell you who he had a great chemistry with in films. And they did a few together. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda. And he did a film just a few years ago with Jane Fonda, and that was a love story. That was a cracker. It was dead gentle. It was dead gentle. Again, it wasn't like, wasn't any of that. It was really good, but you could see the way he was at the time. Well, even now, you know, you can tell an old person the way he walks. I was watching one with Clint Eastwood, and you know he's 90 odd, and you see him on a horse, sitting on a horse, you know. But what you don't see him getting on the horse, and you don't see him getting off the horse. I don't think he moved on it either. I don't think he. You know, why did I do that? I'm like, can you tell him on the horse? Anyway, but that's why you don't see him. And you know, you can tell, and he's stooped now. He's stooped. 90 odd. And the capo, sure, Frank, our generation had all the president's men and Conto, but now media, films, and mainstream. At least says mainstream, which is a good little analogy, a good little take. All controlled by sponsors, brackets, government, and business. That's why, as I said, the lads are doing a job for me. They're doing a job for me. And one of them said, I've got no cash, and I never have cash in the house. I said, they're doing away with cash because he lost his card. And he phoned the bank. Well, he did it through his phone, all this, you know. And it cancelled because he lost his card, you see. And I told him, I said, they're doing away with cash altogether. This is why, you know, you get many, many places now, even pubs, restaurants, anything, accepting cards, because cash will become obsolete. Why? I said, because it's the banks. The banks make more money. And he went, oh. Not only that, what they want to do, they're afraid it's the de-dollarization, and the de-dollarization means the Americans. This is why when BRICS, what we call BRICS, you know, these other countries say, oh, fuck you, dollar, you know, we're not having it. We're having our own. We're having the UN, which is the Chinese. So you've got lots of countries who do this now in BRICS, and the Americans don't like it. So what they're saying and doing now is get rid of money, because the next thing will be gold. Gold. They could bring that into the currency at a later date, whenever. Who was it? No, China has bought more over the years. Over the years, they bought more gold than anybody. And the biggest seller to them, believe it or not, because they've got loads of it, is Russia. They mine it. Mining. You remember when Trump came into power And he said, I want to see Fort Knox. I don't think he's seen it yet. Think about it. Good shout there, Capo. Myra. Oh, she's letting on to the Anfield. Robert Morley was a superb actor. Says the upset. Brilliant. Watch him. If you haven't seen it for a while, watch it again. That is when eight bells toll. He's absolutely superb. He's fantastic in it. Love him. I like Anthony Hopkins. I really do. I think he's a great actor. Anthony Hopkins. And do you know what? He was amazing. I think it was at the time as well. When they seen him in Eight Bells, and they said he'd make a great Bond in, but he wasn't tall enough. He wasn't tall enough. Which is sad. He would have made a great Bond. But he was about to have all little actors. You know what I mean? I tell you, my favourite Bonds, there's only a few of us who think he's good, when I've said it. But this fella was so suave. He was brilliant in his, as an officer in the Navy. Just walked in smooth. It was Roger Moore. Brilliant, great voice, immaculate. And yet, there's me, who looks at a certain thing, like a series, for example. I loved Dad's Army. I thought it was hilarious. And once Walker died, I never watched the thing again. Never watched it, because once the characters. And I've always said about Sherlock Holmes, the best Sherlock Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt, and it was made then, was Basil Rathbone. And Basil Rathbone was a war hero. He should have had a VC, but he got an MC, which is the medal down. That's all. I'm sorry about this. I never took my tablet. I don't like taking painkillers. Brilliant film, The African Queen, says Christopher. Absolutely brilliant. I remember one scene in it. You see Humphrey Bogart, Robert Morley, and Catherine Hepburn, sitting there at a table now, and they're missionaries, aren't they? And you see brilliant Bogart, and he's sitting there and I don't think he washed his face. He's sitting there waiting for a meal. The meal's there in front of him, and he's starving, and he's sitting there like that. And they're wanting to say a prayer, grace. And you hear his belly rumbling. I thought that was brilliant. His belly's rumbling, and he looks down. He just looks down at the meal, Oh, fantastic. The African Queen. And the upstairs says Charles Gray was in The Devil Right is Right. He played Mokata. I've read the book, Dennis Wheatley. I read all his books. Dennis Wheatley's. To the Devil a Daughter. The Devil Rides Out. But that Makata, he was some fella there. And the Rocky Horror Picture Show, never ever seen that. That was with Tim Curry, wasn't it? Never seen, and he was in that, was he? And the Anfield Road, Charles Gray was Sherlock Holmes' old, Mycroft to Jeremy. Yeah, I remember that. Sherlock, I think the best portrayal of Holmes on screen. I agree with you with Jeremy Brett because he plays him the way Conan Doyle wanted to. Did you know that he was actually based on fact? When Conan Doyle was at university, he loved this fella, tall. Just think of it. Please just think of Basil Rathbone. And this fella, he used to detect things. He loved it. So he was fascinated, Conan Doyle, by this fella. And he got to know, and he said his mind was just like, do you know what? It's like conspiracy theory. You know, when he said, no, I can't believe that. And then he went out for the truth. He detected the truth. So it was based on him. A real life person. Just like James Bond. James Bond was based on a real life fella. And do you know who told me that? Daniel Craig's granddad. I was asked to interview. And I went to interview. And I didn't know Daniel Craig. He just made a film about the First World War or something, I don't know. And he was talking about his grandson, Daniel. Now, imagine, he's well dead now, imagine what he'd be thinking that his grandson had become James Bond. Because I was talking to him, and I was talking about, he was an officer in the Second World War, and he resigned his commission because he got collared. Well, he did get collared, but he escaped from Dunkirk. And he said, oh, fuck that, he said. So he resigned his commission and he joined the RAF. I'm not saying it in order now after Dunkirk, but he joined the RAF, went down in the Channel, survived that, resigned the commission, then got torpedoed when he joined the Navy, so he resigned that. And he joined the intelligence. And he knew about this fella going over. Perfect accent. Several languages without accent. He went to Berlin. He was in France. He was actually in Rome, Italy. This fella. Intelligence. English. MI6 or MI5, one of them anyway. Based on it. Jeremy Brett was defo the best TV Holmes sees up. Yep. He was. I always loved it when Rickles said Clint Eastwood was a terrible actor. Is that Tom Rickles you're talking about, Tom Field? Clint was great. Everybody loved Clint. My mate has a coffee with him in Scotland. Me and Clint. Like that. Hey, Frank, because I was calling him Mr. Eastwood, and I said, I've got to go. He said, Frank, call me Clint. I went, all right, Clint, lad, see you again. As you do. Oh, fantastic. Up the stairs, says the Anfield Road. It says my favourite show, Sherlock Holmes, ITV. It was brilliant and played like a stage theatre show. It was supposed to be played. Says the Anfield Road. And up the stairs. I love the Brett stuff. And I love the Basil Rathbone films. Brilliant Basil Rathbone. But the fucking Americans had them doing, the Second World War. Whereas, because it was all done in Hollywood. Fuck off. They should have done it at the time. Not fucking bring us up and going after fucking Nazis and Germans. I didn't like that. That's what I mean about Hollywood. So phony. Ali the Noose. I read that in China now, you only need to pay for tax for apartments and cars first month. Free medical, yeah, and many free things, and look at their economy. They lie to us that we need to pay tax. Of course. You can get your transport all free. Have you seen their transport systems? Fantastic. Their cities are unbelievable. I stream Russia, and what surprised me, I'm only going back very recently, the last month or so. So I decided to have a look at Siberia. You want to see their cities? You want to see the churches? You think St. Basil's and all the churches in Moscow, they are unbelievable. But you want to see their cities, huge cities, beautiful churches. Siberia. Got this fucking itch back. Sorry to swear, Myra. Sorry. We're paying it. Us, I've been, I've retired now, as you know. And when I was paying taxes, and you still are, if you're paying taxes, we're still paying taxes for the fucking Second World War. Do you know that? There's a loophole that we pay taxes, extra taxes, and we're still paying. The Second World War's been over since 1945. My biggest disappointments in these Amazon and Netflix shows when they get rid of material from great literature. There should be a specific rule not to mess with the original source. But brilliant comment. But they do. I hate advertising. I will not watch advertising. I pay premiums and everything not to have advertisement. We can't stand them. Anyway, I put something on, and it was a BBC thing, iPlayer. Well, I forget what it was. I never put it on. It just fucking came up. And Doctor Who couldn't believe it. So that was it. Less said about that a bit. Anfield Road, the only person that is to the text of any literature, whether it's Thomas Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles or any of the Shakespeare plays, believe it or not, is what's his name? Roman Polanski. He's right to the text. Brilliant. I was watched Hamlet with Oh, Larry. Ruined the career of one of my favourite actors, John Garfield. It says Ariotti. John Garfield, yeah, like from the 40s, wasn't he? John Garfield. Black and white films. Yep. The McCarthy ritual, that is. Oh, yeah, you said it. Yeah. I'll tell you who else was besides, what's his name? Sterling Hayden. There was another fella who we all love. Great actor. And when I found this out, I was disappointed. Not worried about fucking Sterling Hayden. He was a nothing actor, to be honest. But when it came to this actor, he was also telling. Couldn't believe it. And do you know who that was? I'm going to tell you now. Edward G. Robinson. Couldn't believe it. Snitching on people. The Anfield. Up the stairs and down. Basil was good. He played it seriously, but Watson was a bumbling comedic act I didn't like. I do not like the modern take with Cumberbatch. Didn't like it. I loved it. That's strange. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's a great actor. Do you know who his mother was, by the way? And don't Google it. She was out of UFO. UFO. Lovely. Up the stairs to the Anfield. I will watch stuff that doesn't ring true or is too adhered from the source material. I tell you what I enjoyed on Netflix. I hardly watch Netflix, but I like a certain actor, and I said, I'll watch this. And that certain actor is Stanley Tucci. And I went, I'll watch this. And it was called The Silence. Really good. It was good. Not a bit of woke in it. And the upstairs. Never watched the Cumberbatch stuff. I like him as an actor, but I never watched him as Holmes. Martin Freeman was Holmes. It was Watson. And it was when they were younger. But it was a modern day version. It was a modern day version. Even Moriarty was in it. I liked it, honestly. Don't know why. And the couple. Watch Our Kinds of Traitor is quite accurate for a modern film. Our Kinds of Traitor. Never heard of it. The Anfield Road. Up the stairs. They've ruined Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Potter, etc. Even Game of Thrones, King's books also changed too much from originality. Hate it, don't you, mate? I'm going to surprise you there. I've never watched Game of Thrones. Never watched it. Never watched Star Wars. Never appealed to me. But I watched the Harry Potter. I watched them. And the Anfield, I watched the modern Nosferatu. And all I'll say is Coppola's Gary Oldman film has no fear. The whole movie is shot for a bad copy, other than a different ending. But to talk about it as a masterpiece. I like Gary Oldman as that. It was horrible, wasn't it? You know, when he just goes into that fucking creature. That was horrible. There's a film called The Last Voyage of the Demeter, or the Demeter, whatever it is. Try and watch it. The Last Voyage of the Demeter, or Demeter. Demeter. I think it's the Demeter. It's good. Bram Stoker. He didn't write it, like, but it's good. Excuse me. No, not at all, says the Anfield boy. Upstairs. They look, they're talking together. Shouting at me. Just because you buy the works doesn't mean you change the narrative. If that is the case, write something original yourselves. But like everything today, they ruin it. You know that I've written plays, right? So, and I'd written, and I kept right to the text because it was in 2014. It was the 100th anniversary of the beginning of the First World War. So I decided to write a play and I wrote it, and it was a success. And I had it staged in the bowels of St. George's Hall. St. George's Hall. And it was quite good, actually. You know, people enjoyed it, not for me to say. Even the Echo enjoyed it. And I was talking to Jake Abraham. He said, "Why have you got a 7?" He said, "That never happens, that. First play, never happens." So it was made up at that, you know, the Echo was 7. And recommended to watch. And there was these people, you know. Now, what it was about, echoes of the first, it's just that echoes of World War One. That was it, echoes. And it was like a reflection on the thing. So I had poets and real life people. Like telling the story, the poets. I had Noel Shabazz was in it. So, you know, it's things like that, and the poets. Started off, I think, with if I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be, in that rich earth, a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shape made away, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of English, breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by the sons of home. You know, so I started off with, I was doing the narration. And he said, "Why don't you wear a uniform?" I said, "I don't want to wear a fucking uniform. I'll just be me. I'll just be the poet, the narrator." And it worked. And you had the other, you know, the actors acting. The horrors of war. I had this fella in, and he did special effects, and it frightened people because we were in the bowels. I had like big arches they were, but I had them as trenches. And as soon as you walk in, what you're hear nothing. Then all of a sudden, as you're moving forward, you can hear gunfire and little bits of explosion, and you know it's in the distance. Then it's getting louder and louder, and it frightened people. Bang, you know. So I had that. Real. Then you had the horrors of war. Gas, quick, boys, an ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, but someone was yelling and floundering like a man in fire or lime, as under the thick green sea he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch his white eyes riding in his face, his hanging face, like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues, my friends, you would not tell with such a zest. Two children ardent for some desperate glory, the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori. So I was saying things like that because I had one lad saying, oh, I'm scared, and you had the sergeant saying, get out, don't be a coward, you'll be shot at dawn, come on, come with me, I'll protect you. And then Napalm, because it was gas coming up with. And Mary says to the Anfield, we all in the Truman, we're all in the Truman Show. And we're all, of course, we're all clown. Myra, you know the clown whales that's going on today with the Americans under the Biden administration. You've only got to look at Trump flip-flopping. You've only got to look at the EU leaders telling you and me and everybody else what to fucking do, and they're grabbing everybody in. Unelected. Can I get that, Miley? To the Anfield. And the Anfield, up the stairs. Yes, I've heard it, I'll give it a go. Good. The capo. And the people versus Jerry. Oh, yes, seen that reflects the truth of control by the USA establishment. It's like here. But the establishment has got worse. And this may sound crazy to people, what I'm going to say. When Thatcher was in power, you knew who your enemy was. It was Thatcher. Today, you don't know who your enemy is. You think it's Starmer. It's not. It's more rooted, deeply rooted into the deep state, the neocons, the Nazis, because they're allowing what's happening, and they want to give more to Ukraine. Who's in Ukraine? The Azovs, the Nazis. They want to give more to Israel. Think about it. Think about it. The Zionists. Oh, Zion, Nancy, the two Z's. Edward. Morning, Edward. Hi, Edward. And up to the Herzog. Yeah, Werner Herzog is one of my favourite directors. His oeuvre is superb. Even the documentary stuff is essential viewing and interesting, man. Yeah, Werner Herzog. Have you seen him in Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise. Fantastic. I think it's who's in that one? I like Rosamund Pike is in that one. It's a good one. Tom Cruise, Jack Reacher, just that one. Just that one with Rosamund Pike. And I'm sure it's in Herzog. I'm sure it is. Myra Page says the Anfield are so true. The control over everything, even entertainment, has become jarring. These outlets are supposed to be for us as humans to enjoy and relax to. Now I just find myself brilliant. Brilliant that Anfield. I mean that, I'm not just saying that. Some great comments today, like last night. Fantastic comments. I fucking love these shows. You just keep me sane, you know. You keep me, honestly, keep me sane because I love you. That's why no one said, you know, I want to get a couple of these done. Whoever wants them, the history, Liverpool. It's good, you know. The other play that I'd written, unfortunately, it was all ready to go, and the tickets were going to go on sale. I've got a couple of tickets, you know. I said, can I have it? And they were going to go on sale, and it was a reflection of Dickens. I had me cast. COVID. It was going out, I think it was on the 28th of June, and then there was the lockdown. And I never put it on. I tell you, he was going to direct it, Jake Abram, and he got the cast together. I knew the cast anyway. So fucking sad. Jake died on me. Died on me. And Edward says, Frank, is it true they do morals with people who pass in Naples? Yeah. Do you know what? I got the fright of my life in Napoli. I love Naples. I love the museum. So anyway, once I was with my ex, and she said, shall we go in the catacombs? I said, you went to the Rome ones. She said, so I went, oh, okay. I advise you not to go in. I fucking had nightmares. I had to walk out. There was another woman, and I said to her, I said, I'm going. She said, I said, I'm going. I'm walking through. And this lady said to me, she said, are you going out? I said, yes. She said, can I come with you? I said, yeah. The old hands going out. Horrible. Horrible. Never again. We had a big argument over it. She wanted to go in there. She was made up and hoped. No, she wasn't. She was great. Loved her. Still do. Unfortunate. Edward. Hello, Myra and Ron. And up the stairs says, The new Blade Runner with Ryan Gosling's in it. Ryan Gosling. Okay, yeah. I've listened to him talking about his projects. I must watch his works. I do appreciate William Friedkin. I think he was a great director. Yep. And he said that is very famous. The Exorcist wasn't a horror film. Fucking terrified me. I only ever watched it once. Fuck that. I won't watch that again. I won't watch that again. Right. Italians are past this. Me fucking doorbell. Fucking hell. Let's go. Yeah, go ahead. I'll definitely give you the belt tonight. I'm like, I'm doing a podcast now. Oh, no, Agnes, thank you so much. Thank you. Poor leg's gone to fucking, I mean, me. He's killing me now. Oh, that was my neighbour upstairs. Lovely. She's a lovely lady. Do you want any rubbish there? Yeah. She's given me a number 3 times and I keep losing it. So she said, did you get me cards with me number? I said, yeah, I'll give you the ring tonight. So she said, okay. Don't worry, she's not like a widow or anything. I know her husband. Italians are passionate people, say Edward. Yeah, I'm sorry for this pain. I keep doing that. I'm sorry there. I love the stairs, says to the emperor. Try and watch. Brilliant. It is a masterpiece. And it's a true story. Fitzgeraldo. With, what's his name? Forget his name. Little fella. I like his daughter, though. The capo. But it's not enough to know, emphasised, that people must get out of their comfort zone and challenge the establishment, or don't complain about the mess of society. But have you noticed now the way they say, oh, I had something to show last night and I didn't show it. Oh, and you can get up to 5 years for saying a certain thing about certain things. 5 years straight to fucking jail. I feel sorry for my grandkids, especially my granddaughter. She's got to go into all this. The outfield, sit up the stairs. I agree, but Villeneuve is a master of creating a beautiful scenery in a big budget movies. He, alongside Nolan, are modern greats, to be fair. Well, you've lost me there, boys. Villeneuve and Nolan, honestly. I love films with, great special effects. I don't like these cheap special effects, I won't watch them. You can tell it's a cheap, very cheap film. So you don't know the actors or anything. I don't know what is it. Edward says Broad's Walk is a masterpiece. Is that the no? Is that the Broad's Walk Empire? I'm not quite so sure, boys. But I'll tell you what film I've always liked: the remake of The Count of Monte Cristo. I think as a remake, it's very good. Guy Pearce and Jim Caviezel really enjoyed it. I like Guy Pearce. I think he's good. He's a bad film though, where there's some fucking big bosomy one. I forget her name. And like a sheriff, modern day sheriff. Oh, fuck off. I never watched it. I watched it and then just went, oh, I'm not having this. That was the worst film he ever made, that. Must have been hard up to do it, Guy Pearce. Klaus Kinski. Klaus Kinski. Great actor. He played Nosferatu, actually. Klaus Kinski. Did you like my bit of acting there? As with Dustin Hoffman is good in Meet the Fockers. Rayman. De Niro. Meet the Fockers, yeah. Good title, that. And the Enfield. I like it. I like that synopsis. I'll be giving that a bash. Thank you. Hoffman. Performances. Midnight Cowboy, Papillon, Marathon Man. Try and watch it. It's a cracking little film. It's something like Harvey with Emma Thompson. Just watch it. It's based here, not in Liverpool, like that. It's based here. It's good. I enjoyed it. A couple of stalwart actors that we know, both male and female. Boss Shout, Condor film is great. 3 Days of the Condor, fantastic. Loved it. Loved it. And when I was talking about Bogart, the Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon. Sidney Greenstreet. Peter Lorre. What a trio. And Bogart, obviously. I always like Claude Rains in films as well. Play it again, Sam. Never ever said that, by the way. No, I won't watch him. I will not watch Gerard Butler. Watch him, he's like that. Good shit. I think he's fucking terrible. Sorry, Edward. But that's just me, you know, people. No comment. Elmo, what was your favourite scene in Only Fools Classic when Tony Angelino's brilliant that? That was a clever piece of writing. He couldn't sound his arse, could he? Fantastic. Clever. And upstairs, I last saw Robert Redford in a film version of Bill Bryson's book about Yet the Appalachian War. Redford plays Bryson's mate Cants, who is a funny fucker in the book. Yep. Bill Bryson, he came to Liverpool, you know. Did you know? He says he'd never seen so much litter. He kicked up a fuss about that, actually. Well, there's a fuss kicked up about, but he said. And the Anfield to Elmo, the dressing room scene when he undressed. Elmo Only Fools is a classic series. And Cat says, this cupboard smells worse than Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge. Admire. The movies these days is like a Muppet Show, a reflection of reality. I go along with that. It's all the woke stuff that's coming out, and it's totally against what I believe in, if you know what I mean. All like traditions gone, unfortunately. Now, I liked him in 300 because he plays a real life character. I like that. It was an unusual film, very unusual. Sparta! Sparta! Just didn't like him, though. I didn't like him. Still don't like him. I know what you meant, Laura Biden said. I just can't stand him. He plays the same. He plays Gerard Butler, in other words. I love the puppet show, the Muppet Show, when I was small. Saints of Myra. Everything is manipulation nowadays, says Ali. Films become a new tool. Well, of course, yeah. That's what I said at the beginning. It's it's all the propaganda stuff. It's there. You're watching it, then all of a sudden it's rising right through the film. And up the stairs says, I loved Laura Biden says the Anfield. Roy Scheider, The Sorcerer, very underrated film. The actor doesn't get enough credit. Great screen presence. Roy Scheider. It's Jorgensen himself. Of the Muppets. Oh, come on. The Muppets. I was scared of Animal Farm from the Muppet Show when I was little. I thought he was under my bed and I started crying. And yeah, Myra, big bird scared me. The beak, the legs, I tell you what, a good watch. The documentary on Jim Henson. Jim Henson. What a man. Myra's going, take care, friends and friends and friend. Isn't that nice? Daniel Craig is in it. Yes. She's gone, Myra. That's nice. It's well gone now. I've been chatting away, going right down. Got to get ready myself. Got to go out. Francis, she's gone. Oh, fucking hell, my arm. Why did I do that? I can't move my arm a certain place. Taz. Big up, Frank. Big up, Frank, mate. Red Dwarf, box second play. Yes. The Red Dwarf. Callum. Finally, Labour and Tories were voted in my local election. You can go on about that all. I'm just going right down to the very last people. I'm going right down. I'm well ahead. I'm sorry. I've got to go right down. No answer to that. Very elegant. Morning, Frank. Sorry, been doing chores, busier than when I was at work. Busy alone a bit, yeah. But at least you're going. Don't be like me and seize up. I like The Exorcist, the beginning with Stellan Skarsgård as a young Lancaster medal. I love the Count of Monte Cristo. The Guy Pearce one was good. That was said before. Going right down, boys. Jason's looking at this. Didn't know. Jared Butler isn't the greatest thespian, says up the stairs, but he has undeniably been in some great I can watch less talented actors as long as the films they are in is good. Well, they could be good for all of that. I don't know. Don't watch it. I just don't watch it. It's like Jason Statham. And Jason Statham liked what I said the other day. He was the only one like it. It was him, Jason. And I thought it was I thought it was, someone, the way they come out with fucking names and it. But it was him. Went right through his thing. See? Oh, fucking hell. Listen, I've got to go. The arm's killing me. This is Jason. Only Fools and Horses chandelier scene is the classic. Yes. With the granddad. I stopped watching Only Fools when the granddad died. Leonard Pierce. I was there watching that for Uncle Alan. Daniel Craig is from The Will. Yeah, I know. Where I went over to Chester. Jason. It's Jason hijacking the show. I'm home a little earlier than usual. He goes mountaineering, does Jason. You didn't think that, did you? He goes mountaineering, climbs there, Snowden and everything. He was telling me about it. I don't want to know. Well, I don't say to him because he's a nice fella. I'm on the phone and I should have seen it today. There's snow and I'm shocking, and I'm like, oh, fuck off, Jason, will you? Honestly. I don't say that, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking of it. Great mountaineer. Says he is. I am Phil Raw. It's Jason hijacking the show. I'll leave it alone. All right, Jason, I hope you well. Frankie, you're vibrating. What do you mean, vibrating? Jason climbs Snowden. Isn't he an ad from America? Don't know what Desmond thinks about that, lad. Yep. Climbed Snowden. Went up to Scotland a couple of years ago. And he did the Nevis thing. Without a rope. And he rides horses, would you believe? Well, remember what I showed you last night? Blessed by St. Francis Our Lady Pope. And don't forget tomorrow, I've got the vlog. I'll be on pre-match half an hour before the kick-off. So if you want to join me then, it's been great today. Got to go shopping with our Francine. Got to go shop. I've got to take these bloody tablets. Have a good weekend, Frankie, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the watch along. Love, a Carla and watch. I hope the red bird's okay, That dog bit him, didn't it? He'll be out, you know. He'll be down Gracie Market and going into Home and Bargain, you know, them places. Watched LA Confidential again the other night. Great film. Yeah, that's good, though. I like that. I tell you who's a good actor. You know that Peter Coyote. He was in that E.T. Do you know what he was? He was a bike. Wells Angels or whatever. One of them. Peter Coyote. I think he's got a great voice. I tell you what I watched as well. Has anybody ever seen Spear with Dustin Hoffman? Samuel L. Jackson and Sharon Stone and Peter Coyote's in that as well. It's a mad film, that makes you think. I'm getting dropped off to a supermarket where they bloody shopping eat it. I've got to go. I have to shop. And our Francine, she goes, "What are you upset?" And I forget things. Always to come out. She's always doing something. Like she's taking Sophia, my little granddaughter, to a party, and the mates are having a party today, barbecue or something like that, whatever it is. She's going to that, and she said, "I've got to drop her off, and I've got to pick her up." Dad. I said, "Okay." So we'll have to hurry. Okay. Hey, Raw, chores, eh? We all do chores, don't we? And as I said, I've got these two lads in. Thank you so much for joining Little Old Me this morning. It's been great. Never done many. Yeah, we did loads of films and we did the propaganda. Try and think for next week, next Saturday, the most propagandized film that you've seen. I'm talking about modern day films. You know, you can go back to the 50s, and you know what even like in the 30s and 40s and 50s, the most filmed propaganda ones. And it used to be an old saying, didn't it? Cowboys and Indians. Just have a look at some of them films, old ones. The way the indigenous American native was portrayed as a savage. They were very propaganda against a race of people, and it still is today. That's why I keep saying to people, watch Wind River. Shocking. Shocking. And that's me for today, boys. Thank you so much. I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully, on the watch along. Chelsea. So it'll be half an hour before the kickoff. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you later. Adamani. Shiva Diamo, Adamani.